हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आज हम द पॉट ऑफ गोल्ड का ऑडियो बुक करने वाले हैं, पूरे चैप्टर का। स्ट्रक्चर से स्टार्ट करते हैं। स्ट्रक्चर में 3.0 हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव, 3.1 इंट्रोडक्शन, 3.2 अ व्यू ऑफ सोसाइटी इन रोम, 3.3 द पीपल ऑफ रोम, 3.4 टॉकिंग द प्लॉट ahead sorry taking the plot ahead, 3.5 the audience in Plautus plays, 3.6 renouncing Phaedria, 3.7 the ending, 3.8 let us sum up, 3.9 glossary, 3.10 questions. Start with objective 3.0 objectives. In the previous unit, we looked at the construction of characters and the beginnings of the plot line. The first part of the play established Euclio as a miser. Megadora's proposal of marriage to Euclio's daughter has been accepted, and the servants are busy executing orders for the wedding feast. In this chaos, Euclio moves his pot of gold outside the house and a new string of events begin. This unit will acquaint us with further developments in the plot line. It will help us understand Roman society with special reference to the position of human and slaves. In this unit, we will also be able to get a broad spectrum picture of the different social groups in Rome apart from the slaves and the masters. 3.1 Introduction. Having said that, let us analyze Megadora's speech further to try and see what Roman society of that time was like. To understand the worldview of the Romans, it is important to look at their attitude towards the institution of marriage and the position of women within it. Magadora's musings on marriage give an insight into the workings of Roman society. We understand the treatment meted out to women both in terms of class and gender. 3.2 A view of society in Rome. From Megadora's speech, it is clear that the Romans followed a system of dowry. Megadoras shares with the audience the anxieties related to the dowry brought by rich women in marriage. He prefers his stance of marrying a young virtuous girl without any dowry. The advantages as he sees it are many. Firstly, he equates virtue with poverty. The idea is that women without dowry are virtuous ones. Secondly, he believes they would be far less extravagant. The absence of any financial strength from their parents' side would also keep them demure in front of their husbands. In short, marrying a woman without dowry would give the man an advantage. In contrast, the women with dowry are seen as arrogant and spendthrifts. According to Megadoros, their greed is beyond measures. Further, they left no stone unturned in driving home to their husbands the benefits of dowry. In the light of these initial comments, take a close look at Megadoros' speech. I have talked to many friends about my marriage plans. They spoke with admiration of my neighbor's daughter, and they said that I was acting admirably well. In fact, I think if other rich men would do likewise and marry girls of humble stock who don't have dowries, there also would be much more peace throughout the city, and other folk would envy us far less than now. Our wives would also show us more respect, and our expenses would be less extravagant. I think this would be sound advice for most of us. The argument would come from just the money grubbing few. Their greed so great that no law can limit it, or any shoemaker take its measure. Now you may ask, whom will the dowried lady wed? If all men accept your preference for the poor, let them wed anyone as long as they forsake their dowries and bring along some virtues in the place of cash in hands. Believe me, they had be better wives than they are now. No more would wives complain, the sum I brought you. You never had more cash in your entire life. On reading this speech, one can mark various social divisions. On the one hand are the rich men, and on the other are the women, with dowry and without it. In the first case, the man with plenty seemed to be doing a favor to the woman without dowry by initiating their escalation to a higher social group. And of course, in the process, their gain is noteworthy. Men like Megadorus are likely to get younger women like Eucleo's daughter, but over and above this, they have to have the advantages of being treated as superiors within the family unit. By marrying human women without any financial assets, the men do not run the risk of women pulling rank and trying to control them. This also indicates that in the society of the times, one of the ways in which the dowried woman could be assertive was through the money they brought into the households. The women from ordinary households did not have this opportunity. They had to rely on virtue to get them a comfortable home. This social analysis conducted by Megadorus is from the point of view of an upper class male who looks at his own convenience in a marriage. The idea of virtue sustains the institution of marriage. However, this becomes a trap for women, as to be virtuous is equivalent to being mute and passive. A rich dowry gives women a chance to be assertive and to create their own rules, an idea that is countered by virtue. The musings of Megadora shed some light on the social norms and conventions of the times. It would therefore be pertinent to examine this in detail next. The people of Rome 3.3. Through the character of Megadorus, we get an insight into the colorful world of Rome. We generally understand this society through the powerful people depicted in the tragedies and comedies. But Plautus gives us a window into the ordinary people of Rome. These are people who contribute to society through their work. They are recognized socially in terms of the work they perform. As Megadorus recounts the kind of extravagance the rich women are involved in, we understand the different kinds of produced in society and the people who are involved in its production. Due to women's extravagance, the following creditors appear: the cleaner, tailor, jeweler, embroiderer, the wool fire, line maker, fringe maker, tunic maker, crimson dyer, brown dyer, violet dyer, the salesman, craftsman, tradesman of every sort, the boot maker, sandal maker, slipper maker, girdle maker. Oh, looks who is here for money. It's the dry cleaner, belt maker. Why, here's 300 more collectors waiting for you. The weavers, the tassel makers, the cabinet makers, just to start. In they come, you come pay them, and then you think you have seen in last. But in March, the saffron dyers damn them all. So, apart from the people who have the money, there are those who perform small jobs to earn a living. These are skilled workers who will soon go on to become the merchants and tradesmen in the near future. One can easily think of the kind of space they will occupy in Geoffrey Chaucer's The General Prologue to Canterbury tells in the 14th century, and further in course of history William Shakespeare's plays where they will intervene directly in important events. And of course, in the 18th and 19th centuries, this social groups grows and consolidates itself to struggle for its rights. So we actually trace the visibility of this group in the ancient world and Roman comedies of PLAUTUS. These people receives a slight mention in the play but give us a wider expanse of the social composition of the times. Significantly, this nebulous group of peoples, not really a social class in that sense, are related to acquisitiveness. They sell products that the women are tempted to buy. One can mark the beginnings of the world where commodities and eventually the process of buying and selling will hold an important place. Megadorus concludes by stating the following. These tribulation and unbearable expenses are just a few of the ills that come with dowries. But see who brings no cash does bring obedience. While rich girls kill their husbands with their mischief and extravagance. These lines clarify that the only draw that the man with money have for virtuous women without dowry is subjection to their husbands. The women from rich families not only bring a dowry but also financial assertion over which the husband has little control. It points towards an independence purchased through money so the woman can live on their own terms. But this is considered to be an ill. The woman who does not bring a dowry is someone who brings with her obedience. Their lives are subject to the will of the husband, but their situation is doubly fragile. Not only are these women supposed to obey their husbands, but assumption that they are not spendthrift also indicates that these women would not have free access to financial assets of their husbands. So they are really speaking dependent on the man they marry for everything. The fact that the rich women exercise control over the lives and money of their husbands is represented by a man. Megadorus' insights on marriage also contribute significantly in carrying the plot forward. 3.4 Taking the plot ahead. Euclio overhears Megadorus' insights into marriage and women. This is followed by a kind of verbal game between Megadorus and Euclio. He criticizes his son-in-law to be for sending the crooks in all the nooks and calling them cooks. He wants to pick a bone with Megadorus only to let it mean a lamb that is only bone. This kind of verbal play adds to the comic flavor of the play. It highlights Euclio's obsessive minstrel Linus and Megadorus' bewilderment at this strange behavior. This creates the idea of the plotting humor. In the previous unit, we examined the relevance of slaves in Plautus dramas. In the first part of the play, the slaves are seen resisting the kind of verbal and physical abuse they are subjected to from within the comic structure. In the second part, Strobylus outlines the function of the slave. He must pay full allegiance to the master even he is sleeping. He must serve his master in his dream. Interestingly, Strobylus also sees a guiding role for a slave so as to protect the interest of their masters. They must prevent them from succumbing to passion. He must be rough to hold his lovesick master up. Is there a new role that has been devised for the slaves or the platters, simply presenting their standard performance in society, as Matthew Lake points out? In case of platters, a significant feature is the elaboration of the role of the wily slave or servus calidus, a figure of such brilliance that he can take control of entire course of the drama and whose triumph the comedy is destined to depict. That slave frequently transcends his lowly status by means of transformation or identification. He can become a teacher, an actor, manager, a philosopher, a priest. The slaves were to be totally devoted to their masters, but they were generally not supposed to express any opinion. This idea of the slaves performing socially alters the conventional role and function accorded to them. In fact, Plautus goes a step ahead as he even places them in sort of advisory capacity as Strobylus is to Lycodinus or Staphyla is to her mistress. There is a kind of loyalty that binds the master-slave relationships. This loyalty allows them to protect their master, and in doing so they significantly alter the course of the play. In a bid to fulfill his master's desires, Strobylus keeps a watch on Euclid's house only to discover the secret about the pot of gold. On seeing many people inside, the miser shifts his treasured possession outside the house. He entrusts the shrine of trust with his gold. However, Strobylus finds out about it and goes into the shrine. Trust indicates a kind of bond between the divinity and individual at a personal level. Both Euclid and Strobylus are seen communicating with the goddess at different moments in the play. Euclid tells the goddess, "Trust, I am trusting you not to tell anyone about my gold." The fact that Strobylus too seeks a personal relation is interesting. He pledged, "Please trust, don't be faithfuler to Euclid than me." There is also a play on the word trust as Strobylus seeks to empty the trusty jug, but just at the moment a raven croaks and Euclid comes back to find Strobylus in the temple and he drags him out. When anxious is a kind of word play which adds to the comic effects in the play. Euclid tells Strobylus, "Out, out you worm! What hole have you just crawled from? How did you suddenly appear? Now that you have, you all disappear. Mangy malefactor, I'll destroy you in 1,000 wretched ways." Exaggeration, pun, alliteration are all coupled with the body. Take a look at these lines to understand Plautus' use of the body. Euclid, "You won't get away with this." Strobylus, "What do you want?" Euclid, "Get it up." Strobylus, "You are not my type. I just can't get it up for you." Euclid, "You are hiding something in your tunic." Strobylus, with a leer, Group me anywhere." Strobylus plays on this sexual innuendo. This is an important element of plotine humor. Euclio does not find anything on Strobylus, and as he hears some noise from the shrine, he heads back into the temple and decides to leave the slave out. However, this is where Plautus gives a twist to the regular plot. The slave Strobylus is presented in flesh and blood. He not only thinks and speak, but he also decides to take revenge and punish Euclides. Strobylus shares his plans with the audience. I had rather die a wretch rotting deadly death than let that codger go without permission. For now, I am sure he won't dare hide his gold in here. He'll move, change his address, and take it all with him. But hush, the doors just crashed. Look, look, he's dragging out the gold. I'll hide here by the doorway for a little while. In Strobylus, Plautus presents the slave's revenge, even if momentarily. He hints at the feelings, thoughts, and responses of slaves, and it is a monologue heard by the audience. As Timothy J. Murray points out, the slave speaks a variation of the good slave's speech, the longest monologue since the prologue that is not spoken or observed by Euclid. The monologue has bring the slave the rapport he needs to win over the audience. He is, after all, both a tricky slave and a thief. At the same time, it provides the place for significant threat to Euclid's position as principal liaison between stage and audience. As mentioned earlier, this subversive idea become a possibility within the comic structure. The audience would have surely laughed at the situation, considering it is this idea of relation that leads to a further complication in the plot. After searching him, Euclid let go Strobylus and shifts the gold from trust to Salvinus. It is indeed ironic that the Miser has invested faith in the goddess of trust, but when he shifts faith of Salvinus is when he loses the gold David community where truth and honor prevail in the wilderness, unaware that Strobylus is watching him. He transfers the pot of gold as soon as Euclid is out. Strobylus steals the pot of gold. He seeks it as salvo of salvation. Euclid is devastated on discovering the loss, but Strobylus is elated as his possession. Take a close look at Strobylus' speech. I am rich, not all the fabled birds from realms of goals can match my wealth, and never mind those paltry little kings. I am now that fabled Philip, king of gold. Oh, what a day! The slave Strobylus considers himself to be richer than all other kings. He will soon envision buying his freedom through this newly acquired wealth. In the brothers Manichaemus, the slave Mazzino asks for his freedom. Having helped resolve the confusion regarding the twins, he asserts his claim to freedom and is granted the same. This idea is considered fair and fine, but Manichaemus won the final pronouncement by Manichaemus to be thou free, gives the slave a new lease of life. He later helped auction the goods belonging to Manichaemus I. We have been analyzing the play at length, but drama, as we know, also requires an audience. Let us look at Plautus' audience next. Now, 3.5. The audience in Plautus' play. In the word of Plautus, the audience is transformed into an actor. From the beginning of the play, the audience is privy to Euclid's machinations. When Strobylus shares details of his deed, it is audience that is privy to this information. As a result, when Euclio discovers his gold has been stolen, he urged the audience to share details with him. He tells them, I can't think straight. To the audience, please help me. I beseech on my knees. Please, I beg, I implore you, just show me who stole it. To a spectator in front row, and what you are saying. I'll believe you for sure. Your bearing so honest, your expression so pure. But what is it? Why laugh you? I know you are all crooks here. So you are dressed in white togas and have the best seats. There are the crooks, monks and mighty, and swindles and cheats. What known of you has it? Oh no, then I am dead. You mean you can't tell me? With incredulous despair, then tell me who's got it. I am losing my head. Euclio, in his state of frenzy, talks to audience, chides it, and blames them for not revealing the truth. As Alison Sarok aptly states, at the moment of tragic climax, however, Euclio does not something which probably no tragic actor ever did. He addresses the audience directly, like a modern pantomime actor, and pulls no punches in smashing the dramatic illusion in order to ask for the audience help to find the thief. He accuses the audience, suggesting that one of them might have stolen the gold. You must pay attention to the line. So you are dressed in a white togas and have the best seats. There are the crooks, monks, the mighty, the swindles, and cheats. One can visualize the society of the time with the privileged in their white toga sitting in front of. Plautus does not spare them as he indicates that virtue was not repository of the rich. There are amongst themselves swindles and cheats. It is the comic lens that allows Plautus to offer a critique of the wealthy and powerful seated in front of rows and theoretical space. Moro to seats. The actor playing Euclio teases the spectators more directly, accusing them of being thieves. Once again, then Plautus emphasizes two realities and two attitudes. The spectators are encouraged to respond simultaneously to both actors and characters and to appreciate both the subservience and the license of the actors' characters. As the audience is privy to the secrets of all the characters, they remain not mere spectators but actors who are spoken to at various junctures in the play. Continuing with the analysis of the play, we need to keep a watch of Phaedria, renouncing Phaedria 3.6. Meanwhile, Lycodinus informs his mother Eunomia of his relationship with Phaedria. On her part, Eunomia acts in a noble manner and tells him that she will convince her brother Megadorus to give up his liaisons so he can marry Phaedria. As a mother, she does not defend her son's deed and in fact reminds him what's more, it is proper thing if, as you say, you forced the blameless girl when you had drunk too much. The plot thickness as Phaedria is now towards the end of her pregnancy and is about to deliver, the characteristic duality of the pot of gold and Phaedria pregnant condition maintained throughout the play is finally brought to close towards the end. The word play between Lycodinus and Euclio continues as the young man seeks the misser's forgiveness, where Euclio laments the loss of gold. Lycodinus apologizes for having wronged Phaedria. It is indeed ironic that as a father, Euclio is only concerned about his goal and unaware of the true state of his daughter. Phaedria's rape is the expression of theft in the family structure. Both are violation of his property's right. Finally, Euclid discovers his daughter's condition and gives him gives his consent to the marriage. The verbal exchange point out ironically Euclid is complete lack of awareness in his daughter's well-being. He is obsessed with the pot of gold and cannot see the real situation for what it is. Euclid, whatever have I done to you, man? Why did you behave so, bringing such misfortune on us all? Laconicus. Passion ruthless, God compelled me irresistibly. Euclid, how had you ever dared to lay a finger on what wasn't yours? Laconicus, nothing can be changed. The deed is done and cannot be undone. Heaven will it, I suppose. How could it happen otherwise? And then examine the final revelation. Euclid, I already have a reason to take you straight into court. That's unless you give back. Laconicus, give what back? Euclid, what you have just robbed from me. Laconicus, what on earth are you discussing? I have not robbed a thing from you. Euclid, Jupiter, the man pretends he does not know. Laconicus, unless you tell me. Euclid, pot of gold, that what you stole from me and just confessed you did. At this point in the play, the confusion between Euclid and Lycodinus is resolved. The pot of gold continues to be missing, but once again analyze the language used by Lycodinus for calling off the wedding ceremony. Lycodinus, you have a daughter. Euclid, that's correct. At least at home, I do pledge. I do. Lycodinus, pledge to marry Uncle Megadolus. Euclid, that is quite correct. Lycodinus, Uncle told me to announce that he is re-announcing her today. Euclid, what? When all is prepared, the ceremony said the man's re-announcing? All the immoral gods and goddess should curse him. Utterly. He is the wretched reason I have lost my pot of gold today. Lycodinus, do cheer up and hold your curses. Rather ask for blessings now for yourself and for your daughter. Say with me, so please the gods. Euclid, please the gods. Lycodinus, and may I ask for blessing for myself as well? Now listen here. No man on this earth so base he is not ashamed by some misdeed he is done, wanting to unsmirch his name. Now I appeal to you, if unwittingly I have wronged you or your daughter, please pardon me. Let me marry her as by the way and law's demand. Freely I confess that I have wronged your daughter dreadfully, driven by the wine and wildness at the festival of Ceres. Take a look at the word renounce. In this conversation, Phaedra is renounced by Megadorus. She is not asked, as no say in either the fixing of this match or her renunciation. Her fate seems to be a deal finalized and called off at the behest of a powerful man. One must not lose sight of the fact that Phaedra is looked at as a woman without any dowry. Her renunciation is executive with ease. The hypothetical possibility is that if Megadorus were to renounce her and there was no Lycodinus around to salvage her situation, would make Phaedra's life a lost case. As a woman without dowry, her chances in society would be bleak. Megadorus' comments on women without dowry must be brought in at this point to caution the faith of the woman were the rich man to renounce her. Lycodinus' comments are insightful as he mentions how most men can claim of such misdeeds. It appears that the sexual exploitation of young women is not surprising on his part. Lycodinus is convinced he is not doing something noble by marrying the woman he has wronged. One also needs to look critically at Euclid's position as a father, momentarily enraged at his daughter's predicaments. His thoughts are soon driven back to the pot of gold and he blames Megadorus for this loss. Indeed, as Euclid finds out, he realizes the situation to be countless catastrophic cataclysm confound my life. We are almost reaching the end of the play at this stage, so let's find out what occurs next. 3.7 The Ending. Meanwhile, Strobylus seeks freedom through the 4-pound pot of gold and in the process reveals the theft. He urges his master to transact gold for his freedom. Now, please, sir, set me free. While Lycodinus snubs him as filthy, found of felony. Even as he then tries to deny it, Lycodinus is certain the pot of gold is with Strobylus. He demands, "Give me back the gold." I play breaks off with Strobylus, challenging the master regarding the gold. By Hercules, you will have to kill me or you will never get it back. In the world of Plautus, this exposition by the slaves, their yearning and candid demand for freedom shows the way ahead. At this point, this manuscript breaks off. As this is a comedy and as a Segal points out, based on the verse available on can conjecture that the end was a happy one and the pot of gold was finally given to the newlyweds. The final statement, "I never had a moment, peace not day, not night, now I can rest," indicates the peace that Euclid must have felt at parting with the gold. He no longer had to guard it. As Segal states in the introduction, Euclid is a man obsessed, a true monomaniac whose every walking thought and he does not sleep at all is his hidden treasure. He lives in perpetual panic, ever suspicious that every passerby on the street is equally mad and bent on robbing him. Using the comic structure, Plautus gives the play a happy ending as indicated, but the discussion around human dowry and marriage at large are only seemingly resolved with Lycodinus' marriage proposal. Phaedria's condition draws attention to the precarious social context in which women are placed. The entire discourse of the play is based on the ravishing of Phaedria, a euphemism for rape. The giving of the pot of gold to Lycodinus is the dowry that integrates the Misha and Phaedria back into the social structure. The slaves may not be granted freedom, but their mechanization point towards the ancestor for freedom. Let us sum up. In this unit, apart from a completion of the plot line, we also infer the position of women in Roman society and the system of dowry. The association of virtue with women without dowry and financial arrogance for dowried women emerges. Unlike the virtuous woman in poverty, the woman with financial assets can boast of both security, certain independence of lifestyle, and control over their husbands. The latter part of the play resolves the complication of the plot while focusing specially on the predicament of women and the slaves. Strobylus seeks revenge on Euclid for missed demeanor and steal his gold. He nurtures the desire of freedom through this goal and asks Lycodinus to release him. However, the plot gears towards the marriage of Lycodinus and Phaedria, who finally get the goal. True to the comic spirit, the play ends on a happy note by resolving the issue, but it is the presentation of the complex social issue that is real social picture emerges. The pot of gold works towards the reintegration of Euclid into social life as he gives the pot of gold to his daughter in marriages and restores his own peace of mind. This Abandonment on the monomania with the giving up of the pot of gold brings Euclid back as participatory member of the society. 3.9 Glossary Philip, King of Gold, a wealthy king. Trusty jug. This is a pun on the goddess of trust. The idea is that this will soon be emptied by Euclid dowry. The reference is to human women from rich families who get a hefty dowry with them. Commodity object. The questions from the pot of gold 3.10. First question is the critically comment on the position of women with respect to the system of dowry within marriage. Question number 2. How does Strobelus intervene in the plot of the play? Third, can Strobelus' desire for freedom be fulfilled? Give reason for your answer. Fourth, describe Phaedra's position in the play. Fifth, comment on the ending of the play. Sixth, can you think of another ending of the play? If so, what would that be? With this, we have done with the pot of gold. If this audiobook is helpful for you, then do like, share with your friends, and subscribe this channel. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.